Book of Matthew, chapter 18 and verse 21. Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Till 7 times.
It ain't nowhere that I can't go. You see me, you see him, I'm like children in the flame though. It's because I follow him though. He the light to my feet, it's like flames what I follow. But let me stop for you heathos. I've been crossed many times, so yes, I know the pain, yo. And forgive is where I ain't go. Told the brother, get in line, giving shots like a needle. I've been sinning for real, murder, but I ain't killed for real. Shot for shot to seal the deal. Now I'm here to swallow the pill. Now I'm woozy, don't know how to act. Devil is mine, I'm fully attacked. My spirits of flesh had taken it back, and I ain't thinking about bringing it back. Tap, tap, I think I hear it right. The Lord come like a thief at night, but I ain't believe the hype. Yeah, like Saul when I seen the night, but had me feeling like Paul when I found the light. Cap, 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 cap. You say you love your people, but that's cap, cap, cap. You swear you don't be lying, but that's cap, cap, cap. You say you did atonement, but that's cap, cap, cap. I say cap, 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 cap. You say you love your nation, but that's cap, cap, cap. You swear you done with envy, but that's cap, cap, cap. You say you did atonement, but that's cap, cap, cap. I say.
So Peter said, if a brother sin against you, he offended. He does something unlawful. Could have took your money, could have tail beared against any of those types. How many times should I forgive? 7 times? Because 7 was a complete number. What did the master?
Jesus said unto him, I say not unto thee until 7 times, but until 70 times 7.
All right, shalom, shalom, Most High in Christ. Bless. I'm Brother Jacob, and to my left,
Brother Jeremiah.
Happy Sabbath, everybody. Happy Sabbath. I'm kind of cranky. I'm in a bad mood because of what's going on with our sister, Whoopi Goldberg. So tonight's title, Europeans Killing Europeans. So if you've seen the news this week, you know what I'm talking about. Because this sister made the statement that what happened with Hitler and the H word, I'm not even going to say it, that she said that was about humanity, man killing man, about humanity. And, of course, they made the statement, that's anti-Semitic. You know, what she said was so wrong. But so what we're going to do tonight, we're going to explore and see if what she said is accurate or not. Because last I checked, the all-white people claim that they're European. Matter of fact, they're Caucasians. Aren't they all called Caucasians? Where's that term Caucasian come from? Comes from the Caucasus Mountains, the luscious Caucasus Mountains of Georgia, Russia. So let's start out like we usually do with Ezekiel chapter 3 and verse 11.
Shalom, happy Sabbath. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 3 and verse 11. And go, get thee to them of the captivity, unto the children of thy people, and speak unto them and tell them, thus saith the Lord God.
Right, so we go to the so-called blacks, the so-called Hispanics, and natives of Negro descent, and tell our people that you have to repent and return to the Lord God of Israel, your power. Now verse 17.
Verse 17. Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Mm-hmm. Therefore, hear the word at my mouth and give them warning from me.
Right. So that's what we do. We're giving warning to our people. Now, the first scripture I want to go to tonight is Romans chapter 12. Because somebody might get the wrong idea about this class. Romans chapter 12, give me 17.
The book of Romans, chapter 12 and verse 17. Recompense to no man evil for evil.
Right. Pay no man evil for evil. Go ahead.
Provide things honest in the sight of all men.
Come on.
If it be possible.
If it be possible. Go ahead.
As much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men.
Right. Live peaceably with all men. So we understand we're in captivity for our transgressions against our God. But he gave us these scriptures so that we can understand what's going on. Now, our oppressors do and say all kinds of crazy things. And we got to live with that. So at the end of the day, Christ is the one that's going to rise up and rebuke them. He going to rebuke them. But in the meantime, hey, we can still speak out to each other. Because the stuff that they be doing and be saying out their mouth, sometimes it just drives me crazy. I try to ignore it, but sometimes it just drives me crazy. So tonight, we're going to deal with these people. First thing, bro, go to Google and give me the definition of anti-Semitism. And let's go to Genesis chapter 12. It's just tons and tons of lies in the earth. You know, I want Genesis 11, and we're going to read verse 10, but first we're going to get this definition. Anti-Semitism. ISM. Yeah. Matter of fact, that lineage, well, no, I mean, all of it will work. I prefer the one, Genesis 10 and verse 21. Yeah, so now, oh my God. Is that the only definition? Of course. You say something against anything remotely against these people, and you're going to get ostracized. Why is that? Okay, so it says anti-Semitism, hostility or prejudice against Jewish people. I'm just going to be honest, it's a load of crap. So that's a term that they came up with. Because a Semite is many different people. You can drop that. Let's go to Genesis 10 and verse 21.
The book of Genesis, chapter 10 and verse 21. Unto Shem also, the father of all the children of Eber.
Hold on. So this is where Semite comes from. It's a descendant of Shem. So how can anti-Semitism is only for Jewish people? And Jewish is not a race. Oh, man. I'm sorry, y'all. Keep going, bro.
The brother of Japheth, the elder, even to him were children born.
Go ahead.
The children of Shem, Elam.
Elam, that would be your Persians, Iranians. Go ahead.
Ashur, Arphax, and Lud, and Aram. And the children of Aram, Uz, Hul, and Gether, and Mash.
So all of these people, they live in the Levant. Matter of fact, when you look at everybody over there, from the Arabs all the way to the Chinese and Japanese man, they're all Semites. They come out of this lineage because the Moabites and Ammonites, they come from Lot. And as you read down, he's a Shemite too, just like Abraham. But somehow these people, and it's only the only people that claim anti-Semitism is the European Jewish people. You don't see nobody else in the world saying, oh, somebody's being anti-Semitic toward us. They the only ones. All right, you can drop that right there. So now let's go to the story. Pull up that first story I sent you about Whoopi. Oh, no. We'll get to that. No, not that one. This one. Where she got the purple on? Yeah. Yeah, that right there. I want you to read that, Jeremiah. We're not going to read all of it. We'll come back to it.
All right. Whoopi Goldberg is symptom of America gone wrong on race editorial. What Goldberg suffers from is a warped view of race that is heavily influenced by the woke culture.
Oh, my God.
That has taken over normal discourse in the United States and other Western countries.
So what that's going into is politics. They talking about woke culture. But people have been saying that these are not the people of God. Go ahead. Yeah, scroll down. Scroll down, bro. Yeah.
One of the main lessons from the Whoopi Goldberg affair is that just because someone is a successful actor or TV talk show host doesn't really mean they know anything about history.
Hey, there's a lot of people that don't know nothing about history. A lot. Go ahead.
The other lesson is that what is happening today in America should concern the entire world, and especially the Jewish people.
And especially the Jewish people. So hold it right there. Now give me Wiki, man. Give me Whoopi Goldberg, which is a Jewish name. Give me her Wiki. Show y'all something. Just you cannot make this stuff up. Yeah, that's where it comes from. Oh, no. They know it because it, you know. But yeah, the root word is Semite. Yeah, y'all hang tight. We are live. Yeah, there's a wiki to the right. Right here? Yeah, to see it say Wikipedia, like you clicked on it already.
Oh, right here.
Yeah. So Whoopi Goldberg is not her name. There it is. Go ahead.
All right. Whoopi Goldberg, Karen Elaine Johnson, born November 13, 1955, known professionally as Whoopi Goldberg, is an American actor, comedian, author, and television personality. A recipient of numerous accolades, she is one of 16 entertainers to win an Emmy Award, a Grammy Award, an Academy Award, and a Tony Award.
Okay, now go down to early life. Remember, Elder Ozias did. Yeah, click 1, early life. So these Jewish people, when you go to all the big corporations, you'll see that they're the CEOs running these things. You go to the early life and it'll tell you, who their parents are, what their nationality or ethnicity is. Go ahead and read that.
Early life. Karen Elaine Johnson was born in Manhattan, New York City on November 13, 1955, the daughter of Robert James Johnson, Jr., 1930 to 93, a Baptist clergyman, and Emma Johnson, 31 to 2010, a nurse and teacher. She was raised in the public housing project Chelsea Elliott Houses in New York City.
She grew up in the projects.
Right.
How did she end up with a Jewish last name? So her father was a Baptist clergyman. I'm sure he's a pastor. No, he read the scriptures. But when you're in Christianity, you don't see things as you should see them. So she grew up in the housing projects. What? Oh my goodness. These people do not fit the curses. You can drop that. You can drop that. Go back to the article. Yeah, pick up where you were. Oh, it said especially what's so special about the Jewish people? Somebody please tell me. If these are the people of God, where are these awesome singers at? Because the Lord had people singled out just for the office of singing praise to him. Now, when I hear choirs, although it's the church, I hear our people singing beautifully. I've never heard any of them singing beautifully. Probably like yodel or something. Probably speaking that Yiddish. Yeah, go ahead, keep reading.
Yeah. All right. As probably most Jews around the world know by now, the award-winning Goldberg said on the talk show, The View, that the Holocaust was not about race, but was instead about man's inhumanity to man, and that involved two white groups of people.
Okay, so that's what we wanted to get to. Two white groups of people. So the question is, who was involved in the war? Give me, we're relying on Google tonight. Give me, type in Judea declares war on Germany. German. Yeah, the top one. Yeah. And then go to images. So click on one of those news articles. See, there's information out there, y'all. You can look this stuff up. There's a video on BitChute called The Greatest Story Never Told. It's a complete story about Hitler and that regime, how they came into power, and all the things that they were up against, why the war was started, all of that. But if you step outside of that, all you're going to hear is a bunch of propaganda. Now, the World War II started because the Polish were killing German citizens that was cut off from the rest of Germany. They killed like 10,000, so Hitler had to attack them. But they'll say, he started the war. He was looking for a war. That's a lie. Can you enlarge that? So when Hitler came in power, there was some stuff going on. He was upset because there were very few Jewish people in his country, but they controlled and ran the majority of things. And he was upset about that. So he came at them. They declare war on Germany. But they're not going to tell you that. They're going to say, oh, Hitler was trying to eliminate all of our people. And they don't tell you about the Havara Agreement either. See if you can find one that you can enlarge. So there was a lot of stuff going on. So like wherever, remember, Edom is the border of wickedness. So wherever they go, there's going to be wickedness. And the lead tribe are these Jewish people. They're Amalek. So wherever they go, there's going to be wickedness. So one of the things that was going on back during this time was Germany was the burlesque, well, actually Berlin was the burlesque capital of the world, meaning like it was like Amsterdam. So if you were a gay man and you wanted to hook up with a man, you would go to Berlin, Germany. If you were a lesbian woman and you wanted to hook up with a woman, that's where you would go. If you wanted prostitution, if you wanted to do anything, any kind of debauchery, that's where you went. People came from around the world to go there because that's where they could do it. And it was run by the Jewish people. Hitler didn't like that. So, are you able to make out? See, it says boycott of German goods. See if you can read that. Yeah. See if you can read that.
All right, I'll give it a shot. Boycott of German goods, mass demonstrations in many districts, dramatic action. Daily Express. Daily Express, special political correspondent. All Israel is uniting in wrath against the Nazi onslaught on the Jews in Germany. Adolf Hitler swept into power by an appeal to elemental patriotism and making history of a kind is making history of a kind he least expected.
So notice it said patriotism because he wanted his people to be proud of who they were. Just like we want our people to be proud of who we are. It's called nationality. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you, bro. Thinking to unite only the German nation to raise consciousness, he has roused the whole Jewish people to a national renaissance. The appearance of the swastika symbol of a new Germany has called forth the Lion of Judah, the old battle symbol of Jewish defiance.
Yeah, which they not the Jews, and we're gonna find that out today. Go ahead.
14 million Jews dispersed throughout the.
Hold on.
All right.
14 million Jews dispersed throughout the world. Go ahead.
14 million Jews dispersed throughout the world have banded together as one man to declare war on the German persecutors of their co-religionists. Sectional differences and antagonisms have been submerged in one common aim.
Hold on. But how are they persecuting them? Were they taking them and beating them and telling them they couldn't keep commandments and stuff? No. They talking about persecution. See, they being political. That's about money right there. Go ahead. Watch. This is important right here.
To stand by the 600,000 Jews of Germany.
Hold on. Jews of who?
Jews of Germany.
But I thought that Hitler killed 6 million Jews in Germany. But this says there's 600,000 Jews in Germany. Go ahead.
Who are terrorized by Hitlerist anti-Semitism.
There's that word, anti-Semitism. Go ahead.
And to compel fascist Germany to end its campaign of violence and suppression directed against its Jewish minority.
So you can drop this now. This was 1933. They weren't killing Jewish people yet. But you see the propaganda? And it says 600,000. So there's another article I sent you too about the Jewish Holocaust. The museum. United States Holocaust Museum. Go to that one. Yep, that's it. That's it right there. Yeah, that's it. That's what we're going to, again, the Jewish population. Yeah, Germany, Jewish population in 1933. Blow it up a little bit. Yeah, so see, there you have Germany, Poland, Austria, Czechoslovakia, Netherlands, Belgium. This is where your Jewish people were residing, and they're north in Russia. It's where the Jewish people are. Now, we're not going into us or the black Jews tonight. We just dealing with them. Now, we're going to go into their history, though. If you know anything about maps, land mass, or whatever, you have the Caucasus Mountains would be to the right of that. And when you look at the migration of white people, they went across from the east to the west over time. Now, granted, during the time of the Greeks and the Romans, they had dominion, but they lost that. So that's what the Reconquista or the Renaissance is all about, is them coming back into power. They're going from the Caucasus Mountains and taking over Europe, going westward from the east to the west. So all these places, you see Poland, Germany, Czechoslovakia, Austria, Italy, Switzerland, France, the Netherlands. Remember that stuff right there. Now, go down so we can get to the number. Yeah, read that where it says according to the census.
All right. According to the census of June 16, 1933, the Jewish population of Germany, including the Saar region, which at that time was still under the administration of the League of Nations, was approximately 505,000 people out of a total population of 67 million, or somewhat less than 0.75%.
Mm-hmm.
That number represented a reduction, from the estimated 523,000 Jews living in Germany in January 1933.
Mm-hmm.
The decrease was due in part to immigration following the Nazi takeover in January.
Oh, so they were leaving. So then you have something called the Havara Agreement, where they were shipping them from Germany and other locations. It was a secret deal done behind the scenes between Hitler and the Nazis and the Zionist Jews. Jewish people. I ain't calling them Jews. The Zionist Jewish folk. And shipped they behinds to the land of Israel. Now, give me Balfour Declaration. All this stuff go hand in hand, y'all. Because all the people we talking about right now is white people. Balfour? Yeah, B-A-L. I think it's F-O-U-R.
Oh, you want me to go and
Go to Google. Yeah, look it up on Google. Yeah, it'll correct you. I can't remember right now. B-A-L. F. There you go. Balfour Declaration. Yeah, pull up either one of them. There we go. Go ahead and read that. Read on the left. Scroll up just a little bit. Yeah, read that.
The Balfour Declaration was a public statement issued by the British government in 1917 during the First World War, announcing support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people.
So this was in the making during World War I. Now, something else during this time, you had colonialism in Africa. But they didn't possess the land of Palestine. The Ottoman Turks still controlled that. So, but the British defeated them with the help of the Arabs and took that land right around this time, right around the turn of the century. So later on, these same European white folk is going to take the land of Palestine, which is known as Israel, and give it to other European white folk calling themselves Jewish. Keep reading.
All right, announcing support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine, then an Ottoman region with a small minority Jewish population. The declaration was contained in a letter dated November 2nd, 1917, from the United Kingdom's Foreign Secretary Arthur Balfour to Lord Rothschild.
Lord who?
Lord Rothschild.
Jewish. Now, even the Rothschilds, you don't hear nothing about them until the 1800s. Where these people come from? Go ahead.
A leader of the British Jewish community for a transmission to the Zionist Federation of Great Britain and Ireland. The text of declaration was published in the press on November 9th, 1917.
All right, now drop that. Now give me 1948, Israel becomes a state. You see, the Lord is supposed to come get Israel out of captivity and take them to the wilderness and teach them face to face. Yeah. 1948, Israel becomes a state. Yep, there you go. Becomes a nation. There you go. Yeah, just click on. Just pick one. State of Israel is. Oh my goodness. See that ugly Edomite David Van Gurion? Be patient, y'all. Bear with us. But all this stuff is important. We leading up to a point, and then we're gonna go in on these people. But we're still at peace with them. We're just gonna bring out some truth. Nah, we don't have to read it. But that's they became a state. They were accepted by the United Nations as being a nation. That thing was created. It was given to them. It all goes back to the Balfour Declaration. That's what it go back to. See, all this stuff was political for them to get their hands on that land. These are the richest people in the world. They're the ones that control all these companies. Even go back, man, go back to Google and give me, what's the dude name? Einstein. I can't even spell his name. I'm upset right now anyway. I can't spell. Albert E. Yeah, put in Albert E. I'm sure it'll pop up. There you go. Albert Einstein. Wikipedia. Yeah, to the right, go down and click on his wiki, and then go to early history. Yeah, early life. Go ahead, read it.
Oh, man. Early life and education. Albert Einstein was born in Ulm in the Kingdom of Württemberg in the German Empire on March 4th, 1879, into a family of secular Ashkenazi Jews. His parents were Hermann Einstein, a salesman and engineer, and Pauline Koch. In 1880, the family moved to Munich, where Einstein's father and his uncle Jacob founded Electro.
It don't matter. It don't matter. He's one of them. He's one of them. He's an Ashkenazi Jewish person claiming to be the people of God. And we're gonna deal with that Ashkenazi. So these are the people talking about anti-Semitism. Basically, they run the world. So there's two people you can't talk about in this world. Somebody that's in LGBTQ or the Jewish people. Why is that? So look, now let's go to some history, man. So these Jewish people, man, you know what? Let's stick with Google again. Go to Ish. Give me Ish. Yeah, Ish. Either Ish or nominal. Look, I see what Roy said in the chat. Oh yeah, look at it. Look, it said ish. It says to some extent. Would it really mean only in name or pertaining to? That's why they're Jewish. They don't say, "Oh, yeah, I'm a Judah. I'm from the tribe of Judah of the Israelites." No, they say, "Oh, I'm Jewish. Yeah, I'm Jewish." They follow Judaism. All they are is converts. So our forefathers that were in those areas, you know, a lot of them were wealthy. And so they would buy servants or slaves or whatever you want to call them. And then they would have to keep the commandments according to the law. And so they would keep our customs. But these people here are nothing but converts. They're particular converts. So we're going to get into that right now. Now let's go to some scholarship, man. Sephardic Jews. So I got a bunch of books, y'all. Going to this one first. Non-Jewish. And look, we didn't write this. Black people did not write this stuff. These are their scholars. Non-Jewish origins of Sephardic Jews. Page 50. Yeah.
All right, page 50. Despite the knowledge in Spain that the Turkic Khazars had converted to Judaism.
Oh, so you did this right here. You see this in a lot of books about scholarship. Turkic Khazars. Go ahead.
Had converted to Judaism.
Converted. Go ahead.
As described in the correspondence between the Khazars and the Hasdai Ibn Saprut.
So he was a brother that was in Spain. He was a Spanish Jew. Our people had been there. They've been there for 2,000 years. Hold on real quick, man. Let's go to Romans. I know I want verse 24. I just got to remember the chapter. Romans chapter 15 and verse 24. So, remember, they thought Paul was an Egyptian. They thought Moses was an Egyptian. You look at ancient artifacts, you see our people with woolly hair. You see that we were Negroes. And I have books telling you that they thought all Jews were black till they ran across these Edomite ones. But go ahead. Go ahead, read that, verse 24.
The book of Romans, chapter 15 and verse 24. Whensoever I take my journey into Spain, I will come to you, for I trust to see you in my journey, and to be brought on my way to the word by you, if first I be somewhat filled with your company.
Good. You're good. So you had black Jews, as is in a lot of books. The Jews of Spain and Portugal were very dark. They didn't intermingle with other people. Now, over time, they did. You know, another thing too is why, starting in 1391, you had pogroms. They were killing our people, taking our young folks and selling them as slaves and making them slaves to Christian families. Why is it that there's no pictures of that? You got plenty of Renaissance art. Why is there no pictures of a Jewish kid with a white family? But you can find black folks, woolly-haired, black-skinned people with Edomites, with Europeans. Because we those Jews. It's not them. They don't fit the curses. Go ahead. Back to the book. Pick up where you left off.
All right. This dramatic act of mass conversion
mass conversion. Go ahead.
Is barely noted in Jewish literature, either in Spain or elsewhere. There could have been 3 reasons for this silence: fear of arousing the wrath of the Christian and Muslim, ecclesiastical, and political authorities, suspicion that the conversion of the Cozarts to Judaism might not have been sincere or according to Orthodox practice, embarrassment over the fact that the Khazar kingdom was destroyed in the 10th century and its population dispersed. Scholars are still unable to determine the certainty the fate of the Judaized Khazar population after the collapse of the kingdom. Some of the Khazar Jews are believed to have joined the newly forming Ashkenazic Jewish communities in Eastern Europe and the existing Jewish communities in Iraq.
Finish it off.
For a bibliography of Khazar studies, see Wexler, 1993.
Now, go to page 89. They know, a lot of people know, especially scholars, that these are not God's chosen people. The people in other nations, they know it too. There's a channel where the guy goes around and asks the people about the Jewish people in Palestine, in Jerusalem. And I remember one of them, they said, yeah, well, you know, the Bible says that the Jewish people are going to come back. And the guy was like, yeah, they will one day. It ain't y'all, is what he's saying. Yeah, someday. Go ahead.
Let me start a little bit right
No,
there.
just that right there.
Never acquiring the Yiddish language of their Ashkenazic neighbors who far outnumbered them, and largely shunning intermarriage with the latter until recently.
No, up here.
That's where I'm at.
Oh, I didn't hear you say Yiddish language.
It is revealing that when Ashkenazic Jews in Northwest Germany in the late 18th and early 19th century gave up Yiddish, they switched to Standard German, while the Equatorial Portuguese Jews preferred to switch from Portuguese to the local Plattdeutsch, Low German dialect, probably as means of maintaining separateness from the Ashkenazim.
Right. They did remain separate from the Ashkenazim, so that Yiddish, like what they claim is Hebrew now, today comes from the Ashkenazic Jews. It comes from them. Read the lower part.
It is widely believed that the Sephardic Jews are descended from Jewish settlers who arrived in Spain during the Roman period.
So we just read that in Romans chapter 15 and verse 24. Go ahead.
According to the textbook explanation of Iberian Jewish settlement, the first Iberian Jews were the Latin and Greek-speaking immigrants who came to the peninsula in the early Christian era.
Mm-hmm.
The earliest documented Jewish presence in the Iberian Peninsula dates from the early centuries of the Christian era, For example, there are Judeo-Greek and Judeo-Latin inscriptions from the 3rd through 8th.
Right, you good. You can drop that now. So you have, like we went over the book of Ezra recently, and so our people had been dispersed in these captivities, and they knew prophecy that it was going to happen again. So some of them didn't return. They would go to these places and they would just stay there. So that's what you're looking at. Now, give me, oh boy. I'll save those two for last. Give me Jews and Moors in Spain. Page 78. So I'm going to tell y'all this. They keep trying to say that like they're Sephardic Jews, they descend from the real Jews, but you have all these scholars saying otherwise. Go ahead, read that. So we read, it mentioned Hasdai ibn Shaprut. You're going to keep hearing that name.
All right, page 79. The chief topic of the conversation is concerning the Jewish kingdom of the Cozarts, from whom Jacob ben Eleazar had brought the anxiously awaited news that morning. What we gather from this conversation is this. West of the Caspian Sea is a powerful kingdom named Cozar.
Mm-hmm. Cozar or Khazar, however you want to pronounce it. They had more names than that, but go ahead.
Before the strength of which the Persian monarchy trembles, and whose favor and alliance is courted by the Greek Empire. Mm-hmm. Its original inhabitants were Turcoman tribe, who had gradually abandoned their nomadic habits and maintained considerable commerce. Their capital, Belengar, is situated at the mouth of the Volga, and a line of cities stretches across from thence to the Don. Merchants of all religions, Christians, Mohammedans.
Hold on. Remember that, y'all. It said merchants of all religions. Remember that, because we're gonna read that about the merchants somewhere else. Go ahead.
Merchants of all religions, Christians, Mohammedans, and Jews were freely admitted, and their superior intelligence over his more barbarous subjects had induced one of their kings,
Bulan. I mean, you can Google this. You can find this on Wiki. King Bulan. Go ahead.
740 AC, to embrace the religion of the Jews.
Right. They embrace the religion of the Jews. So, it goes into detail. Go ahead.
His choice between the conflicting claims of Christianity, Mohammedanism, and Judaism was decided in this manner. He examined the different teachers apart. He asked the Christians if Judaism was not better than Mohammedanism, to which the Christians replied affirmatively. He asked the Mohammedan teacher if Judaism was not better than Christianity, to which they too replied in the affirmative. Both deciding in favor of Judaism, the king embraced the faith of Moses and induced learned Jewish teachers to settle in his domains.
I think this is funny because when you look at the religions in the world today, the main two, you have Christianity and you have Mohammedanism or Islam. Even with this Judaism, you have Ishmael and Esau trying to find their way to the Lord, and they can't. It's only for us. Go ahead.
A belief in Judaism is the necessary condition on the accession to the throne. The most liberal toleration of all other forms of faith prevails. But of this Jewish kingdom, nothing was known in Spain till Hasdai learned of its existence through the ambassadors of the Byzantine Empire.
Now, I have something. I wasn't able to find it. I have this document somewhere. When when they were writing back and forth to each other, King Bulan had said that they originated from the Caucasus Mountains. I mean, not the Caucasus Mountains, from Mount Seir. Go ahead. That's in a Jewish encyclopedia from 1904.
Hasdai, to assure himself fully of the sovereignty possessed by his brethren, had sent Jacob ben Eleazar as a messenger to them with a letter to their king, which concluded thus: Were I sure of the existence of this kingdom, I would throw aside all my present honors and positions, and hastening to it, would throw myself at the feet of a Jewish king, and feast my heart and eyes at the sight of his might and splendor.
No, there ain't no King David up there. Go ahead.
That very day had brought the eagerly looked for letter from the present king of the Cozarts, Kagan Joseph, giving the above information and concluding thus.
So hold on. So he was down. He's Kagan Joseph. When you go into these people's history, at that point when they converted, they changed their names. You even see them being called Obadiah of all people. How you gonna call yourself Obadiah? Go ahead, man.
I too am desirous of knowing thee and of profiting by thy wisdom. Could my desire be gratified, and could I speak to thee face to face, thou wouldest be to me as a father, and I thy son, and into thy hand would I entrust the government of my kingdom.
Right. So he's expecting a real Jew and that wisdom that a real Jew would have, and especially a king, because in the law, the king is supposed to. Well, let's hit it. Let me see if I can remember. Deuteronomy 17. Verse 18. Yeah.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 17 and verse 18. And it shall be, when he sitteth upon the throne
This is the king now. Go ahead.
of his kingdom, that he shall write him a copy of this law in a book out of that which is before the priest, the Levites.
So the king's supposed to have the law. Go ahead.
Verse 19. And it shall be with him, and he shall read therein all the days of his life, that he may learn to fear the Lord his God, to keep all the words of this law and these statutes, to do them.
So that's what he found out. There was a kingdom with a king. He figured he got wisdom and understanding from the scriptures. No, not from them. They don't understand nothing in the scripts. I'm sure you got some that understand dark sayings, and they know what they're doing, keeping us from getting the kingdom. Now let's go to that was Jews and Moors in Spain. Yeah, pull that up. That's Jews and Visigoths. This book is $300. There's some good stuff in it. Some good stuff. You know who it was written by? Spanish and Portuguese Jews. Page 214. Yeah, go ahead and read that. So these are good sources that we're using. Go ahead.
Page 214. The work is based on the previously mentioned conversation of the Khazar kingdom to Judaism, but is used merely as a staging for Halevi's own arguments, couched in a debate between representatives of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, who supposedly tried to convince the Khazar king to join their faith.
Yeah, so we just read about that. We're going to read about it again. So they were all, and like where their kingdom was a strategic place, because you had the Ottoman, not the Ottomans, you had the Byzantine Empire fighting against the Arabs. And where the Khazar kingdom was strategic in attacking each other. So they were both trying to sway that kingdom to be on their side so that they could attack their enemy. Finish that out.
There are three basic aims in the work: to argue the superiority of the Jewish faith over Christianity and Islam, the superiority of revealed religion over Aristotelian philosophy, and the superiority of traditional rabbinical Judaism over the heresy of the Cozarts.
Yeah, the Karaites. Yeah, I mean, that's a total different story. Supposedly Jews, and they didn't get along. So now let's go to Benjamin of Toudella. So Benjamin of Toudella, he's from the time of the Crusades, the 1100s. He's from Toudella, Spain. So he's a black Jew, a Spanish Jew. Page 33, yeah, that up at the top. Because remember, they let merchants come into the Khazar kingdom.
All right, page 33. All sorts of merchants come here from the land of Babylon, from the land of Shinar, from Persia, Media, and all the sovereignty of the land of Egypt, from the land of Canaan, and the empire of Russia, from Hungary, Patzinica, Khazaria, and the land of Lombardy and Separ.
So, if you have representatives coming from Khazaria, and this is 400 years after the conversion, wouldn't this Sephardic Jew know that they're his brothers? If they were the same people, wouldn't he recognize them as his people? Doesn't say anything about it. Now, page 78. Well, pay attention, y'all. Now, Benjamin is the one that pointed out that the sons of Edom were calling themselves Franks. Franks, a lot of Franks were redheads. What people have red hair and blue eyes? Go ahead.
Alexandria is a commercial market for all nations.
Right, so this is North Africa. Go ahead.
Merchants come hither from all the Christian kingdoms.
So the first merchants are coming from Christian kingdoms. Who accepted Christianity wholeheartedly? Edomites. Go ahead.
On the one side from the land of Venetia and Lombardy, Tuscany, Apulia, Amliphi, Silica, Calabria,
Sicilia,
excuse me.
Yeah, that would be Sicilians of today.
Calabria, Romagna, Khazaria,
Yep, Khazaria. Go ahead.
Patazinkia, Hungary, Bulgaria, Rakovia, Croatia, Slovenia.
Remember these names now, because eventually we're going to get to World War II. Remember these names. Go ahead.
That's a lot of names. Russia, Armenia, Saxony.
There's Germany.
Denmark, Curland, Ireland, Norway, Frisia, Scotia, Angleterre, Wales, Flanders, Hainault, Normandy, France,
Normandy, France.
Poitiers, Anjou, Burgundy, Maureen, Provence, Genoa, Pisa, Gascony, Aragon, Navarra, and towards the west under the sway of the Mohammedans.
So now under the sway of the Mohammedans, go ahead.
Andalusia,
which would be Sephardic land, the Sephardic Jews, Spain and Portugal. That's Andalusia. Go ahead.
Algarve, Africa, and the land of the Arabs.
So this is under the sway of Mohammedans. That's where that religion dominated at. Now, under that, we lived peacefully with them most of the time. They would attack us too, but we lived under the Mohammedans peacefully. A lot of them was our people. Go ahead.
And on the other side, India, Zwala, Abyssinia.
So now this is Africa. India is not, but Zawila, Abyssinia, Libya. Then you cross over the Horn into Yemen. Go ahead.
El Yemen, Shinar, Eshem, or Syria. Also Javan, whose people are called the Greeks and the Turks. And merchants of India bring.
Go ahead.
And the merchants of India bring thither all kinds of spices.
Right. So the merchants of India bring spices there, right? Go ahead.
And the merchants of Edom.
The merchants of who?
The merchants of Edom.
That's your Christian nations. The merchants of Edom is your Christian nations. All those ones named up at the top. The merchants of Edom buy of them.
Still can't cook.
Yeah, so this was a place of trade. When you watch, what is it? It was Christopher Columbus. What was he supposed to be doing? What did he claim he was trying to find a way to? To India, to the east, to buy spices and stuff. You can't make this stuff up. But these people hollering anti-Semitism, they ain't never gonna bring this stuff out. They know about these books. Daggone nerves. Yeah, we got one more page in here. Yeah, 88. Right.
All right, page 88. The southern provinces of Russia were spoken of as the land of the Khazars.
The Khazars, the Ashkenazi, whatever you want to call them. That's where they were. Go ahead.
Especially by Jewish writers. Long after the Russian conquest, about the year 1000.
Right. They got defeated in the year 1000. And they started migrating to the west, into Poland, Germany, those places. That's why you have two different kinds of Jews. You got the black Jews, and then you got the Jewish people. And I got other books that show you we would not intermarry with them. They're converts. Go ahead.
Especially by Jewish writers. Long after the Russian conquest, about year 1000, and the Crimea was known to European travelers as Khazaria. It took Rabbi Patakia 8 days to pass through the land of the Khazars. See Dr. A. Benish translation of Patakia's travels in note 3, page 70.
Watch this.
He gives a short sketch of their history. The ruling dynasty and most of the inhabitants embraced the Jewish religion.
These people are not the original Jews. And the first ones hollering, they're being anti-Semitic. Almost all the people over on that side of the world are Shemitic. And you know, it goes back to one of their God-given characteristics in Genesis 27. When they found out that the blessing, when Esau found out that he couldn't get the blessing, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry. That's how they are. You can't touch the hair on their head, but they will do all manner of evil to you. Right. Okay, we got one more. No, we still got two more books. So let's go to the 13th tribe. You see, some of these books, they will mention each other. Like Benjamin of Toudella, he's mentioned in several books. He's mentioned in this one. He's mentioned in the Jews and Visigoths. I think he's mentioned in the Sephardic Jews too. So 13th tribe, page 17 first. So, but meanwhile, We looking at evidence showing that these are not the people of God. They're nominal, they're Jewish. But as soon as you say something about them, everybody goes crazy. Why is that? If somebody comes at you, shouldn't you be able to stand your ground and just prove them wrong? Why do you have to use the tactics that they use? Somebody comes at us, we got plenty of documentation on our slavery, the things that happened to us over the course of 400 and 500 years, not 6 or 7, 8, 9 years, like what happened to them, where they claimed 6 million people were brutally murdered. What about what happened to us over hundreds of years? Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Page 17. This was written before the full extent of the Holocaust was known, but that does not alter the fact that the large majority of surviving Jews in the world is of Eastern European.
Right, you know why? Because the real ones went into captivity. That's why. Go ahead.
And thus perhaps mainly of Khazar origin.
Right, Khazar origin. Them white folks, those European. See, it said the large majority of surviving Jews in the world is of Eastern European. Didn't Whoopi say it was white people killing white people? Somehow she wrong? Remember now, we went to the article, 1933, Judea declares war on Germany. How come don't nobody bring that up? They started it. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
If so, this would mean that their ancestors came not from the Jordan, but from the Volga, not from Canaan, but from the Caucasus.
So they didn't originate in the Caucasus. They went there eventually, but they originated in the Sierra Mountains. Go ahead.
Once believed to be the cradle of the Aryan race, and that genetically they are more closely related to the Hun, Ugar, and Magar tribes than to the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
They are the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, though. They're Esau. Go ahead.
Should this turn out to be the case,
here we go.
then the term anti-Semitism would become void of meaning.
If you have understanding, the term anti-Semitism don't have no damn meaning. It's just something made up by them. It's made up by them to shut you down when you start talking about them. They don't want you looking at them, examining them. Go ahead.
Based on a misapprehension shared by both the killers and their victims, the story of the Khazar Empire as it slowly emerges from the past.
As it slowly emerges from the past, what's in the dark gonna be brought to light. Go ahead.
Begins to look like the most cruel hoax which history has ever perpetuated.
Right. They have stolen our identity and taken advantage of it. Page 66. See, we're going to minimal scriptures tonight, but we still tearing their behind up. The truth.
All right, page 66. According to his own account, Hasdai.
There's that name again, Hasdai, because a lot of the understanding goes back to Hasdai, because the Kagan Joseph was corresponding with Hasdai ibn Shaprut. Go ahead.
Hasdai first heard of the existence of an independent Jewish kingdom from some merchant traders from the Kusharian in Persia, but he doubted the truth of their story.
Rightfully so. He's like, nah, something don't sound right. Go ahead.
Later, he questioned the members of a Byzantine diplomatic mission to Cordoba, and they confirmed the merchant's account, contributing a considerable amount of factual detail about the Khazar kingdom. including the name Joseph of its present king. Thereupon Hasdai decided to send couriers with a letter to King Joseph. The letter, which will be discussed in more detail later on, contains a list of questions about the Khazar state, its people, method of government, armed forces, and so on, including an inquiry to which of the 12 tribes Joseph belonged.
Which tribe you from, sir? Go ahead.
This seems to indicate that Hasdai thought the Jewish Khazars to hail from Palestine, as the Spanish Jews
right,
did.
as the Spanish Jews did. Go ahead.
And perhaps even to represent one of the lost tribes. Joseph, not being of Jewish descent, belonged, of course, to none of the tribes.
Right.
In his reply to Hasdai, he provides, as we shall see, a genealogy of a different kind.
Hey, this is one of their Achilles' heel because they claim that they're the people, but they can't trace their lineage back to Jerusalem. They can't do that. But they'll stand you down that they're the people. Oh, we're the Sephardim. We're Kohen. We're of the priesthood of Aaron and all this crap. We know the scripture said we're going to discontinue from our heritage. They pretending to be us. Go ahead, brother.
But his main concern is to give Hasdai a detailed, if legendary, account of the conversion, which took place 2 centuries earlier, and the circumstances that led to it.
Go ahead.
Joseph's narrative starts with a eulogy of his ancestor, King Bulan.
King Bulan. Go ahead.
A great conqueror and a wise man who drove out the sorcerers and idolaters from his land. Subsequently, an angel appeared to King Bulan in his dreams.
Yeah, right. Right. Go ahead.
Exhorting him to worship the only true God and promising that in exchange he would bless and multiply Bulan's offspring.
Hold on, man. But an angel ain't gonna show up to me, me and you. But he gonna go to. I almost said it. But he gonna go to one of them. He gonna go to one of them. The Lord don't deal like that. But keep going. Keep going.
And deliver his enemies into his hands and make his kingdom last to the end of the world.
That sounds like a covenant that he made with Israel. If we be obedient, he's going to deliver our enemies into our hands. Yeah, he got it.
Oh, okay.
He got it.
Oh. His hands and made his kingdom last to the end of the world. This, of course, is inspired by the story of the covenant in Genesis.
Go ahead.
And it implies that the Khazars too claimed the status of a chosen race.
They claim the status of a chosen, just like they doing now. Go ahead.
Who made their own covenant with the Lord.
See, they made their own covenant. Come on, man. Everybody want to be us. Look at how hard they cling to the H. Oh, the H was so bad. It's not as bad as what happened to us, and it's been for hundreds of years. You look into our history, we just keep doing the same things over and over and over. We would back during this time, like during the 700s to the 1300s, a lot of times somebody would come up and say they was the Messiah, and our people would follow him and get put to death. Repeatedly. Kings of the other nations was like, okay, because there's one dude said he was the Messiah, and if you cut his head off, he was going to raise himself back up. So the king was like, okay, let's try it. And put him to death. No, you can't make this stuff up, though. Go ahead.
Even though they were not descended from Abraham's seed.
Right. They are descended from Abraham's seed, but not the chosen one. That's right. Go ahead.
But at this point, Joseph's story takes an unexpected turn. King Bulan is quite willing to serve the Almighty, but he raises a difficulty.
Right. So now you can. Is there one more page in there? 80. Yeah, page 80. Boy. Yeah, page 80. And then we got one more book to go to. Oh, my goodness. This one, I haven't read much into it. This is the one we're going to go to next, but thanks to Al, I do have it. Yeah, this is 13th Tribe by Arthur Kessler, page 80.
All right, page 80. Jewish scholars from Mesopotamia and even from Egypt to teach their children Torah and Talmud. While few Jewish travelers from the West undertook the hazardous journey to the Volga,
That's where the Cozarts were. Go ahead.
they recorded encounters with Khazar Jews at all principal centers of the civilized world. Rabbi Petka met with Baghdad.
Met with them in Baghdad.
Met with them in Baghdad. Benjamin of Toudella, another famous traveler of the 12th century, visited Khazar notables in Constantinople and Alexandria.
But he didn't say that they were his people. He did not say that they were his people. He called them a Christian nation. Now to the bottom of it.
Just the highlight or the whole paragraph?
Yeah, just to highlight it. So.
Okay. But at the same time, the Khazars were regarded with certain misgivings, both on racial grounds and because of their suspected leanings toward the Karaite heresy. One 11th century Hebrew author, Japheth ibn Ali, himself a Karaite.
Hold on. So you have some Israelites that's kind of like off, Yisraelites, and they be coming at us, and they use this word right here. Why? Read that.
Explains the word mamzer, bastard, by the example of the Khazars who became Jews without belonging to the race.
Right. They're not the people. These are converts, y'all. They converts. They don't want you looking at them, but their own scholars are the ones telling on them. What's the so Arthur Kessler? What nationality you think he is? He's a Khazar. Edwin Black, that wrote the Helvar Agreement, he's a Khazar. You have what's the other guy name? I can't think of his name. I got his book too, but it was just so much I was like, I'm not even gonna bring it. But he was mentioned in one of these passages that we read. He's Jewish. They tell on themselves. Two more of them. You're gonna hear about two more of them. So now we're in DNA science and the Jewish bloodline, page 7. So we're proving that they're not the people, that they're just Europeans, like other Europeans. Then we're going to go to the war. Yeah, there you go.
All right, page 7.
You can start that one from the top.
I bet. Definitive DNA studies have now been conducted, and the results are clear and indisputable. The people who today call themselves Jews and reside both in the Middle East,
that's in Israel,
and around the world, are not descendants of the ancient Israelites.
No, they're not. Because when you go to Egypt, you see us. You see black people. You don't see them. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, man. I can't.
They are not the seed of Abraham and have no blood connection to the prophets of ancient Israel. Instead, DNA shows these people to be descendants of the kingdom of Khazaria.
That's what we've been reading. That's who they descend from. Go ahead.
A country that formerly existed in the Caucasus south of Russia.
They're Caucasians, just like other Europeans. Caucasians. That's where they come from. Go ahead.
History records that in the 8th century of the king of Khazaria chose Judaism as the preferred religion for his people.
See, everybody's saying the same thing, but they'll stand you down. Oh no, that's not true. Somebody, that's just what they think. Like, no, I don't hear that. Everybody's saying it. It's your people saying it. They've done the research. They wanted to find out where they come from themselves, and they're like, oh, damn, We're not the people. Go ahead.
Who at that time were pagans and nativists. He ordered that Jewish rabbis be brought to Caesarea from Babylon to teach his people of this new religion.
Right. From Babylon, which is Iraq. Now, turn the page. Yeah, read the highlighted stuff.
Page 9, right?
8.
8, excuse me. Principally to Poland, where they retained their Judaic religion.
Oh, my goodness. Poland. Principally to Poland. Remember when we looked at the map, all of that stuff is right there together. All those names we keep hearing over and over. Go ahead.
From there, they immigrated throughout Europe and into the United States.
See that? They immigrated. It happened over time. Because you have, even in the 1600s, you still have, man, I got a book. They going, Edomite goes to the synagogue, it's full of Jews, full of black Jews. So this thing happened over time. Go ahead.
And in 1948, the Khazarian Jews established the new nation of Israel.
So the Cozarts did that, the nominal, the issues. Go ahead.
Those people throughout the world who today refer to themselves as Jews are actually Khazarians.
Go ahead.
And of Turkish Mongol stock.
Not the Edomites. Go ahead.
They earnestly believe themselves to be ancient Israelites, but in fact are Gentiles. Many practice the religion of Judaism.
See that? The religion of Judaism. Go ahead.
And their Babylonian Talmud claims that the Jews are a superior godlike race.
But I tell you what, they not godlike. Go ahead.
Ironically, the Talmud states that the Gentiles are inferior, being no more than cattle. The Talmud also speaks of Israel as being the eternal homeland for the Jews and of a Jewish Messiah to come and rule the world.
Right. Now, page 9, the highlighted part.
Page 9. It also sends the whole world a clear signal that the land of Israel does not belong to the Jews.
The Jewish people, it don't belong to them. That's why there's constant wars and fighting over there, because it don't belong to them. The land's trying to spew them out. Go ahead.
For they are Khazars, and their national homeland is not Israel, but Khazaria in the Caucasus.
So they need to go back to the Caucasus Mountains. Now, page 45. So we got like 3 more pages in the scholarship. Then we're going to get back to Whoopi saying Europeans killing Europeans, and they going crazy. I can't tell them apart. Can you? How do you tell a Jewish person from another white person? European. It must be the hats they wear. The yarmulkes. Oh, yeah, the little curly twists. Crazy. Be patient, y'all. Just hold tight. Oh, yeah. Yeah, some reading. None of us highlighted, but we're going to read straight through, and it's going to be fun.
All right, so this is page 45, starting at 45. How the racial hoax of the Jews was finally exposed.
The racial hoax. Go ahead.
The newest DNA scientific studies showing that almost all the people known today as the Jews of Israel, and indeed Jews all over the world, are in fact of Khazar, not Israelite origin.
That's right.
Is backed by the earlier work of historians.
See, it was historians that said this originally. Go ahead.
These historians found that their scholarly books and reports were immediately attacked by Zionists.
Just like if you say something about them, you're immediately attacked. Oh, you're being anti-Semitic. You're being anti-Semitic. Go ahead. I'm sorry, man. They get me heated, man. They get me heated.
Desperate to maintain the fiction that the Jews could trace their heritage all the way back to Abraham.
Right, go ahead.
The Zionists knew the truth.
Right, they know the truth.
That they are not a race, but a composite of many races.
Actually, they're Edomites. They're Amalek. Go ahead.
They had to keep up the myth that they were a homogeneous race, kept together by religion and community interest for 5,000 years. Only in this way could the Zionist Jews claim to be the seed of Abraham. Only as Israelites could the Jews claim possession to land where they and their ancestors had never been.
No, they have been there before because they fought against us. And then, like we did in a couple classes, whenever we would get taken out the land, they would move in. That's them. Go ahead.
The Zionists knew, too, that their genocide and ethnic cleansing against the Palestinians was not justified unless they, the Jews, had claim to the land. How else could they get the millions of evangelical Christians to support their horrible behavior?
That's what they do. So they work hand in hand. You'll see that these, I think this book calls them Zionist Christians because they support those people. They think that you have to support these devils. That you have to support these people. They'll say, we stand behind Israel. And then they send billions of dollars over there to them. And they got weapons, right? We're going to hit that. Go ahead.
If they were suspected of being converts to Judaism and not actually the tribes mentioned in the Bible, it was all over for them. Their lie would be out. They would be seen for what they are, imposters.
Imposters. Go ahead.
Pulling off the hoax. The Zionist Jews were able to pull off their racial hoax for decades, even though historians and anthropologists, many of them Jewish,
many of them Jewish, go ahead,
wrote book after book.
They doing it. They telling on themselves. Go ahead.
In 1899, famous British historian Houston Stewart Chamberlain published The Foundations of the 19th Century, which held that the Jews were not a race, but instead were bastards.
Go ahead. Hitler said the same thing. Go ahead.
At the time, bastards was not a pejorative word. Thank you.
Look at that name right there, man.
Yitzhak Schipper, quoted extensively by Jacob Littman's The Economic Role of Jews in Medieval Poland, affirmed that the Khazars were the Jews. In 1867, the great Jewish scholar Abraham Harkavi, in The Jews and Languages of the Slavs, spoke of the Jewish Yiddish language coming from the Khazars.
Yep, coming from the Khazars. Go ahead.
It was, however, a prominent Jew named Arthur Koestler.
He's the one that wrote the 13th tribe. He's a professor. Go ahead.
Himself a Zionist Jew, who in 1976 published a book which caused such a sensation. The 13th Tribe was a literary bombshell. Koestler's accurate work was meant to be a refutation of Hitler and the Nazis, but it had incredible unintended consequences.
Oh, go ahead.
He wrote, the large majority of surviving Jews in the world is of Eastern European, thus perhaps mainly of Khazar origin.
Oh, my goodness. Go ahead.
If so, this would mean that the Jews' ancestors came not from Canaan, but from the Caucasus, once believed to be the cradle of the Aryan race, that genetically they are more closely related to Hun, Olgar, and Magyar tribes than to the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Oh, wow. Go ahead.
The story of the Khazar Empire, as it slowly emerges from the past, begins to look like the most cruel hoax which history has ever perpetrated.
So he quoted Kessler right there. Go ahead.
Kosler, who thought he was doing his fellow Jews a service, was unmercifully attacked by other Zionists.
You're being anti-Semitic. I think they had him killed, him and his wife.
Who felt he had let the cat out of the bag.
Too late.
If they come from the Cozarts and not of Israelite origin, the Jews had no ancestral claim to the land of Israel,
Which was given to them by other Caucasians, Europeans, in 1948. It was already set up in 1917 under the Balfour Declaration. You need me to talk more? You want to take a break? Oh, go ahead. Okay. Go ahead.
I got you, bro. They were not the seed of Abraham, but of King Bulan and the people of Khazaria. As Shlomo Sands.
So Shlomo Sands made a book. He made a couple of books, 2 or 3 books. One of them was called The Invention of the Jewish People. Oh, yeah, it said right there. Go ahead. Read it.
History professor of the University of Tel Aviv explains in it his outstanding 2007 book, The Invention of the Jewish People. Without the Old Testament in its hand and the exile of the Jewish people in its memory, Israel would have no justification for annexing Arab Jerusalem and establishing settlements in the West Bank, the Gaza Strip, the Golan Heights, and even the Sinai Peninsula.
So that might. Oh, yeah, just to there, to here, I believe. Did we get a picture of that? 48. Well, just read it. I'm sorry, we didn't take a picture of the last couple of paragraphs. So just read that for them.
If they were Khazars, the title, the eternal people, did not apply to them. They would be, in fact, another usurping ethnic conglomerate, falsely claiming to be Jews.
Just another nation of people wanting the homeland, fighting over it, that don't belong to them. Go ahead.
And willing to kill to illegally possess the rightful ancestral lands of the Palestinians. Other books followed, most notably Kevin Brooks' 1999, The Jews of Khazaria, but these many scholarly books never really became the consensus because of Zionist opposition.
Right, I got that book too.
As Orwell once wrote, whoever controls history controls the world.
Whoever controls history controls the world. The earth has been given into the hands of the wicked. They're the ones controlling everything. You can't even speak out against them. Now, so these are not the people of God. They're Jewish. They're pretending to be God's people. They're Europeans just like other Europeans. They're white people just like other white people. They just Zionists. They claiming to be the Jews. So Whoopi is right. Now, let's go to Leviticus 26. These people don't fit the curses. And they try to use the big H to say that they do. You got 500,000 people there, but somehow Hitler killed 6 million of them. Make that work. It's crazy. We take the things that their people have written and use it against them, proving that they liars. Leviticus 26. Start at verse 31.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 26 and verse 31. And I will make your cities waste and bring your sanctuaries unto desolation, and I will not smell the savor of your sweet odors.
So what are they doing in Jerusalem now? What are they doing in Tel Aviv and other cities? Go ahead.
And I will bring the land into desolation, and your enemies which dwell therein shall be astonished at it.
Go ahead.
And I will scatter you among the heathen.
When did those people get scattered among the heathen? I want to know. So if you run across one of them and they run in their mouth, ask them this question. In 1948, what captivity did the Lord take you out of? I want to know. Repeatedly, Israel was sent into captivity. What captivity did they come from? What king let them go? Who had them in bondage? Go ahead.
And will draw out a sword after you, and your land shall be desolate, and your cities waste. Verse 34. Then shall the land enjoy Then shall the land enjoy her Sabbaths, as long as it lieth desolate, and ye be in your enemy's land. Even then shall the land rest and enjoy her Sabbaths. As long as it lieth desolate, it shall rest, because it did not rest in your Sabbaths when ye dwelt upon it. And upon them that are left alive of you, I will send a faintness into their hearts, and the lands of their enemies, and the sound of a shaken leaf shall chase them, and they shall flee, as fleeing from a sword, and they shall fall when none pursueth.
Is this happening to them? We see this happen to our people every day. It just happened to Whoopi Goldberg. I don't know why she called herself Goldberg. You can't. She said what I don't see nothing wrong with what she said. You're supposed to have freedom of speech here. I don't get that either. A person doesn't have to listen to you. But I get it. Because she has a voice and people listen to her, they fear that thing. Well, go ahead.
Verse 37. And they shall fall one upon another, as it were before a sword, when none pursueth, and ye shall have no power to stand before your enemies.
Do they have power to stand before their enemies?
They are the enemies.
Right. Go ahead.
Verse 38. And ye shall perish among the heathen, and the land of your enemies shall eat you up. And they that are left of you shall pine away in their iniquity in your enemy's land. And also in the iniquities of their fathers shall they pine away with them.
So are they pining away, or do they own the biggest companies in the world? Are they the CEOs? Are they executive officers of all these great companies in the earth? You can't even speak against them. They own everything. They will shut you down. Go ahead.
Verse 40. If they shall confess their iniquity and the iniquity of their fathers with their trespass which they trespass against me, and that also they have walked contrary unto me, and that I also have walked contrary unto them, and have brought them into the land of their enemies, if then their uncircumcised hearts be humbled, and they then accept the punishment of their iniquity.
Now this sounds like us right here. We're the ones being punished. We're being punished. We're getting shot down every day by each other and the other nations. We was on the way over here. We found out about the brother that got killed. He was on his sofa, and the police shot him on his sofa. And they had the video footage, the personal camera footage of it. When does that happen to them? When does Lahayim lips whatever get shot down on his sofa? Go ahead, man.
Verse 42. Then will I remember my covenant with Jacob, and also my covenant with Isaac, and also my covenant with Abraham will I remember, and I will remember the land.
Right, the Lord's going to remember us, y'all. Believe that. He's going to remember us. We got to be obedient and repent, and then we get the kingdom and the land. It all goes together. That's part of the promise. We're done right here. So we don't have, we're not able to stand against our enemies. We don't have any might. They got might. They got a military. Just a few months back, they was bombing the hell out the Gaza Strip and Hamas. They can't even open their mouth without calling Hamas or somebody terrorists. When that place was peaceful over there until they moved in there. 1948, all hell broke loose over there. They become a state in 1948. 1949, they already at odds with Iran. 1950, they done overthrew the government. The Shah kicked out. No, the Shah put in place. Then later, the Ayatollah takes that over. Ayatollah Khomeini. They the cause of all this stuff. But everybody is everybody else is wicked and terrorists. But everywhere you go, you take everything from people. You bombing people that don't have nothing but rocks. You blow up a building, they take the rocks from that building and throw them at you. And so you shoot them. You wickedest people on the face of the earth. Now, put up that picture of the four. Yeah, the one you made the cover picture with. Those four. We're gonna hit some scriptures. We're gonna show y'all. It was Europeans killing Europeans. Because those are not God's chosen people over there. Yeah. From left to right, Edomite European number 1. Edomite European number 2. Edomite European number 3 with the mustache. And Edomite European number 4. Europeans killing Europeans. You think that's in the Bible? Now give me the other one, World War II. Just the picture. The picture. Oh. Oh, you don't have to worry about it then. You don't have to worry about it then. There's I sent you an article about the war. Yeah, we gotta have that one. Then we're gonna hit the scriptures. Yeah, it's like where the battles of World War II. Yeah, timetoast.com. World War II battles in order of timeline. Yeah, blow that thing up. So remember all those names, y'all. So you have the Ammonites, the Japanese. They jumped their little silly behinds in this. But you know what? They had their role because of what they did. It's gonna bring a scripture to life because they got bombed. Now, is that as clear as it gets? So, this is in order. You have the Battle of the Atlantic. Who do you think was in the Battle of the Atlantic? That would be your Europeans. Then you got May 26th, the Battle of Dunkirk. Where's Dunkirk? Let me look it up. I'll look it up real quick. Let's see where these battles at. It's not about white people fighting white people. And then she's silly too, talking about mankind, humanity. So, yeah, you can stay right there. I pulled up Wikipedia. The Battle of Dunkirk, French. It's the French port of Dunkirk. European Edomites. That's May 26th. June the 10th, Battle of Netherlands. When we looked at the map earlier, and in Benjamin of Toudella, the Netherlands. Christian nation, European Edomites. Oh, January the 10th, 1940, Battle of Britain. English Edomite, Europeans. December the 8th, 1941, Battle of Hong Kong. That would be the Japanese who's always wanted to be like Esau, thinking they got next. Wrong. what you got was that atomic bomb. August 19th, 1942, raid of Dieppe. That's another European country. June the 10th, 1943, Italian campaign, more Europeans. And then June 6th, 1944, that's D-Day. That was in the list with Benjamin and Toudella. That's, what is that? What is that? Normandy? Yeah. The beaches of Normandy. Let me double check D-Day. Yep, Normandy, 1944. But somehow our sister is wrong saying it was white people killing white people. Those are not the people of God. They're not Jews. They're Jewish. They want to be the people of God. But they're just Europeans like everybody else. That's why they got the same characteristics in the way that they behave, the same looks. I don't know how you tell them apart. Really, I just go by the last name. Let me see. So those are the nations fighting the battles against each other. Do you think this is in the scriptures? You can bring it back to us. We're going to hit some scripts now. Finish this thing out. Book of Revelation. We'll start at chapter 8. We know in part, we prophesy in part. Hey, but those things that we know, we're going to bring them out. Give me, start at verse 12. Yeah, just start at 12. I don't want to be long.
The book of Revelation, chapter 8 and verse 12. And the fourth angel sounded, and the third part of the sun was smitten, and the third part of the moon, and the third part of the stars.
Going right back to one of our previous classes about Genesis chapter 1. Go ahead.
So as the third part of them was darkened, and the day shone not for a third part of it, and the night likewise. Verse 13. And I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe, woe, woe.
Woe, woe, woe. There's going to be 3 world wars. Go ahead.
To the inhabitants of the earth by reason of the other voices of the trumpet of the 3 angels, which are yet to sound.
Right. Woe, woe, woe. You better believe it. Chapter 9 and verse 1.
The book of Revelation, chapter 9 and verse 1. And the 5th angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace.
These Edomites are coming back into power. Go ahead. Go ahead.
And the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads.
Right. Don't touch none of the righteous ones now. Don't touch my servants. Go ahead.
Verse 5. And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man. But in those days shall men seek of death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. And the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle, and on their heads were as it were crowns like gold, and their faces were as faces of men.
Well, this is not talking about real locusts. It's going into something else. It'll make sense in a little bit. Go ahead.
And they had, and they had hair as the hair of women, and their teeth were as the teeth of lions. And they had breastplates, as it were breastplates of iron. And the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots of many horses running to battle.
So they got wings and it's loud. It sounds like chariots going to battle. Go ahead.
And they had tails like unto scorpions, and there were stings in their tails, and their power was to hurt men 5 months. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit.
The angel of the bottomless pit. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but the Greek tongue have his name Apollyon. One woe is past.
One woe is past. This is talking about World War. Go ahead.
And behold, there come 2 woes more
There
hereafter.
comes 2 more after. So it's been 2 world wars. The third one is coming. You better believe it. Hold fast to what you have. Go ahead.
Verse 13. And the 6th angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the 4 horns of the golden altar, which is before God, saying to the 6th angel, which had the trumpet, loose the 4 angels, which are bound in the great river Euphrates.
Right. So the angels are holding back war from starting over there. You got these Jewish people over there, and they just antagonizing the hell out of everybody over there. But the angels is keeping them from starting the war. They're keeping those other nations from just like going, tired of these Edomites. So chapter 11, verse 14.
Book of Revelation, chapter 11 and verse 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly.
So the second woe is past, the third woe cometh quickly. So you looking at similitudes of world wars. Now give me chapter 13, give me 1 first.
Book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 1.
So look, the way, like when you read Revelation, it's not in order. It's giving you a lot of information, but it's not in order. It comes from other stuff too, like other books, and you got to know history. Go ahead.
And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy.
Right, now give me verse 6.
Verse
So
6.
this beast rose up from out the sea. Are these the Jewish people? Are they part of this beast? Yes, you better believe it. They rose up out the sea. They got all kinds of power. They run stuff. Go ahead, verse 6.
Verse 6. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven.
And his people blaspheming God and his people. Are they being blasphemed? You can't even speak against them. Verse 7.
Verse 7. And it was given unto them, and it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them.
So hold on. Did these people participate in the transatlantic slavery? Hell yes. They funded it. Go ahead.
And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations.
Do they rule over people? Do they control stuff? Yes. They at the top of it all. They running everything. Claiming to be the people of God. Chapter 6. Give me chapter 6. And now ask yourself a question. Do the Jewish people have military might? In New York, New Jersey, they got their own neighborhoods, their own police force, their own hospitals, their own everything. And then they got the land of Israel, and they got weapons, ships, submarines, jets, nukes. They got it all. But God's people ain't going to have no might in their hand. Yet they have everything. And they're getting funded by the United States. Chapter 6 and verse 8.
Book of Revelation, chapter 6 and verse 8. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death. and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth.
Right now, verse 7.
Verse 7. And he had opened the fourth seal. I heard the voice of a fourth beast say, Come and see.
And come and see. Go ahead. Verse 6.
Verse 6. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine.
Hey, we were bought with a price, and hurt not the oil and the wine, the wisdom and understanding. Go ahead. Verse 5.
Verse 5. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, Come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand.
So judgment has to go out. Verse 4.
Verse 4.
Here we go.
And there went out another horse that was red.
Esau. Another horse that was red. Esau. So we're reading it in the reverse order because that's the way it's going down, in the reverse order. Go ahead.
And power was given to him that sat thereon.
So power was given to Esau. Go ahead.
To take peace from the earth.
Did they do that? Did they do that in World War I? Did they do that in World War II? Did they take peace from the earth? Go ahead.
And that they should kill one another.
Did they kill one another? Was white people killing white people? Was Europeans killing Europeans? Yes. They were killing each other. Go ahead.
And there was given unto him a great sword.
A great sword. What was that great sword that was given to them? At the end of it, they had nuclear weapons. That's that great sword. These are not the people of God. They're your enemies. They're imposters pretending to be you. And every time you say something about them, they attack you. Why? Because they don't want the truth to come out. 1 Corinthians 13. I don't. We still had other articles and stuff. No. Let's just no. 1 Corinthians 13. They get me heated. Just thinking about the, Exodus 11. And this is why I get so upset. Go to Exodus 11 and 7. We got to hold our peace. We represent the Lord. We're supposed to be at peace with all men. But this bothers me that they've stolen our identity and everybody believes the crap that they say out their mouth. The book of Exodus chapter 11 and verse 7.
The book of Exodus chapter 11 and verse 7. But against any of the children of Israel.
Against us.
Shall not a dog move his tongue.
The other nations should not move their tongue. They shouldn't say nothing about us. There's going to be a recompense for everything that they've done. If there's recompense for all of our actions, everything that we say and do is being recorded, what about them? When daddy gets finished punishing us, what do you think is going to happen to them for what they've done to us? That's why they got to come and worship at our feet. Go ahead.
Against man or beast. They
can't even speak against our animals. Go ahead.
That ye may know how that the Lord doeth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel.
And that's any nation. Now, 1 Corinthians 13 and 2.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 13.
I'm sorry, y'all. I had trouble sleeping last night when I went to take my little old person nap this evening. I had trouble sleeping. Man, this thing got me worked up, man. To see it happen time and time again, every time somebody says something about us being the people and they have a platform, these people come screaming at them. Oh, you getting fired. You getting shut down. Like, look at Nick Cannon. He still his babies popping up everywhere. He can't keep his thing to himself. Maybe if he could stand up and be a man of Israel, a man of God. But he's giving his power to women. He got, you know what I'm saying? Come on, man.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 2. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries in all knowledge, and though I have all faith, so that I could remove mountains, and have not charity, I am nothing.
So if I don't help my people in any way I can, regardless of what that is, it could be money, it could be alms deed, it could be edifying you, helping you in situations, telling you what to do, how to live according to the scriptures. All that is charity. You want to see your brothers and sisters do well. You want to see them make the kingdom. You want all of us to make the kingdom. It's a sad thing for any of us not to make it. But we not. We read in Revelation a few minutes ago how a third of the sea, how it's going to be darkness on the third. Our people not going to see this. Some of our people just not going to see it. That's tough. But we got to have a love and a care for our people, y'all. So remember, you're the real Israelites. Those people are imposters. They don't want this truth to come out. Keep that in mind. I hope you have a happy Sabbath. I'm Brother Jacob.
Brother Jeremiah.
And with that, y'all, we humbly say shalom.
Shalom.
What's going on, you guys? This is Toudella, and I have something amazing to tell you guys. I want to introduce to you Showing Charity on Wheels. Showing Charity on Wheels is a non-profit organization helping our communities fight against hunger. It's a mobile food pantry that travels to various locations in Virginia. To name a few, you have Richmond, Petersburg, Chesterfield, and other local areas. Showing Charity on Wheels' goal is to help provide nutrition and healthy food in our communities. To get access to that, you can visit our website at www.showingcharityonwheels.com and fill out the sign-up sheet, or you can also donate on our website, or you can use our Cash App, $Showing Charity OW. Every helping hand matters.